it is, but in the end, favorites doesn't matter at this type of level. It all depends on how well you can be playing on the field. CMS in blue, TKO in orange, and the kickoff has gone right away.
Well, two fabulous teams, a lot of question marks on quality with the next period of time of this off-season, and this is the first step of many, and this one will be Stizzy to really take control of the game. It will be a question for you, because Ocelot and Casio, historically speaking here, has been two sides that captain method, and, well, if you want to go with a few others with Casio, because he's got a long list, usually dictates the game. So how do they two shape up as the experienced players?
Again, like I said, I think they're going to be playing on those counterattacks, but it doesn't look to be the case so far. The commit coming out right there. Doesn't look to be the right play this time around. The ball back into the middle, and like I said, they're going to look for these types of counterattacks, these types of situations where they can counterattack or they can look for a quick breakthrough. Catalyst trying to get a second touch, does find the bump, look for the pass into the middle. This found, it goes straight on down, Danny.
Oh, it was straight on. But again, right at the keeper, and this is the counter that you were maybe alluding to, but no support. And it just gets tipped away comfortably in the position where the midfield, where both sides could do some damage, and this was promising.
The passes are promising, Danny. They're looking great, they're looking clean, but it's not on target, just a bit too high. This pass intercepted Casio straight into the middle. Ocelot takes it a bit slower. After the wall we go, Catalysm goes high. Ball back into the middle, Stackers with the control and the easy does it, and then he's a dangerous player. Dropping it down, the solo plays are lethal.
And it just took one moment of brilliance here. Stizzy, who is mechanically gifted, shows a bit of flair onto the pitch every time you expect something from him. Well, an own goal. We've seen world champions do that just recently in the biggest of events here, and it worked out well for them. Let's see if it moves on from here.
Straight on down, Stizzy goes high. Catalyst is right there. Can he find a double? Needs to be quick though, because Casio's right there, but the dunk straight on down, Daddy. This match is looking to be great.
We've always had somewhat of a question of the opening game. Will it be a 4-0 nothing? Jam suggested, is this going the distance? 7 games perhaps? Well, I think we've had the answer to this one. Both sides are ready for it. Hope you are home too.
The man of the hour, the man of the mechanics, doesn't get a good touch right here. Casio hits it high. Catalysm. Very touching to the middle from Casio. Eventually, he does find the interception, and the demo is still creates some space. Stizzy into the middle. He's pretty much the counterpart from TKO. He's able to do the same mechanical stuff so far, but he hasn't been able to find his footing. As Casio is finding his footing from the ceiling, straight on down. The dunk is there. The follow-up touch wide of the net, and Stizzy has a wide open net if he gets the past one.
Well, it was one to beat, but Ocelot, a tricky man to get past in any type of game mode as well. Blocks anything. And unfortunately for them, not going to be punished here as marked by 8. He is just throwing himself onto the ball. A lack of control, but we talked about the heavy aggression. This is exactly the image that you would want to see here, but doesn't matter if you can't find a teammate to follow on the support of it.
He's going high. All back into the middle we go. Gets the past 1, but not past 2. Casio to clear to the side. Into the corner we go for the 50 once again. He's been winning those. Reminds me of the old days of Fireburners, the way Casio is just not letting any 50 get past, and this ball forward once again onto the backboard.
Were you even old enough to be around when Fireburner was playing Spooks?
Yes, I was, Danny. I was still wearing the diapers back then, but I was still able to see that man play as I see these people play right now. Still taking inspiration from the legends. As this pass is a legend for itself, the pass found. And you asked if he could show up. You asked if Ocelot was here. Well, he's here, he's arrived.
He's one of those players that I look at when I see in the bracket, and there's always a smile on my face as well. Because frankly, Spooks, when he's on form, brilliant player, always with class and dignity as well. He never takes a result to heart here, but a deep down competitor. And Casio with the 3rd goal for TKO. This one is again for the defensive side.
They are taking their chances when they are being given so far, Danny. It is just TKO taking these tiny little gaps in the defense, tiny little mistakes coming out from CMS. And they're punishing it right away. They're doing somewhat what I expected, but they're being a bit more aggressive than I expected. Oh no, please.
It wouldn't be his day, but again, we've already seen one goal on Spooks. Do you know what? Can we ask the admin to pause the game? Ask if he's alright?
Well, ask if he's alright, ask if we are alright, ask if everyone is alright, because right now this game has been a bit of chaos itself. Stizzy going high, stood for a second touch, straight on down, Tekos 50 forward. Got him under control. Trying to get it high once again, but no boost in the tank and just loses the control way too easily. And the pass intercepted once again. Changing my mind right now about how TKO is playing. They're just trying to intercept anything you do.
Well, if you can't beat them in pace and if you're worried about the mechanics side of the game, the only thing you can do is shut the space down and read the play and steal it off them. That's essentially what has happened so far in the 5 minutes worth of gameplay, as Catalysm, they just threw the ball away here. And for a side that's attack, attack, attack in terms of orientation, they have yet to find each other. That one goal is all what they've got themselves to hope on to.
Back into the middle, looking for that final opportunity to get the second goal, to catch up back into this game. Mark by 850s, not going his way, looking for a demo or a bump. Ocelon getting 15 into the middle, but the ball just pushes wide next to the net. Mark by 8 once again pushing it forth, and the defense holding on strong from TKO. They're just not letting anything go past. Ocelon pass back into the middle to Mark by 8, goes high, way too high. Your time is up.
Time expired, and Gio Watts. We were debating between the green room what match should have been picked even from yesterday alone when all 16 teams qualified, Spooks. And do you know what? This is the perfect game that illustrates the old, the new, the beauty of the game too. And frankly, to see Casio and Ocelon perform the way they have, do you know what? The old dogs still have it in them.
They still got some bark left in them, but they're playing well all round. That's the thing. Like, yes, the goal from Tekos was great. It was amazing even. But all round, Casio and Ocelon, they were intercepting passes. They were looking good. They were looking stellar. They just looked on top of things the entire time. And it is looking like that this build-up that they have, where they look for those defensive plays and then break free and do it on interceptions and quick counterattacks, is working for them.
Yes, and you look at the way that CMS is trying to play, you can understand the understanding, and the Spanish sort of mentality is always has been that. You can look through the history book. What is slightly surprising here is Mark by its experience alone here should teach him that one of those two players wasn't possible, and he still went for it. How they adapt, how you approach into the series. Thankfully, it's best of 7 in the round of 16 here, Spooks. What will he adapt and what will the others do? That will be the interesting bit for me.
It definitely will be. It will be something to look forward to. Something to maybe quote as well and say as well is that Top Esports, the team of Astro, Drawley, and Sizen, is currently 1-0 up over the Fairy Peak-led team. Interesting what's going on there as well.
Yeah, you can just almost sense that the occasion might be getting to the Fairy Peak's new potential two Wonder Kids, but let's divulge deep into that one, because we've got two sides here right now looking to make headway themselves, and that's a good idea to start the attack. And frankly, Catalysm backflip is leaving some people a bit nervous, myself included, for them.
A bit shaky, a bit weird, but this ball back down is also exactly that. Not really well hit by either one of these two players. Catalysm going to the side once again, leaving it alone for Stizzy, who sets himself up for the solo play, but needs to waste all his boost. With the flip reset, dropping thrown down, the solo play not catch. Catalysm to the wall once again.
Oh, straight to the side. What a pinch those Spooks here, and watch this here. Ocelon's got options, and he's just decided to play it to himself, and it's not good enough.
Looking for the bump, connecting to it as well, but the shot was too late. Mark by 8 with the side flip, and this ball could have been open. Stizzy just in time back to get the save. Ball pushed to the side once again. Mark by 8. 15 by Ocelon. Into the air we go. Mark by 8 trying to stick close to this, making up for the mistake he had before. And Stizzy once again, the menu looking forward to see if he can do some mechanical stuff. Just losing possession as well. It seems that everything for CMS is going wrong right now.
You could say wrong, but I'll give them one piece that may actually look good here. They haven't conceded. Yes, they may have scored first, but when you got beat with 3 goals unanswered here, Spooks, all what you need to do is just hold on to it. Do you know what? Forget it. There aren't big problems.
At the start, you said that this felt like it could be a 4-0 or 4-1, Danny.
Yeah.
Was this also the way you were thinking?
If I'll be honest with you, no, but I'm happy to be wrong.
Happy to be wrong. Danny lost some teams with some experience to them, some age next to them. Maybe some leftover thoughts for himself, as TKO has some leftover thoughts about this play. 15 into the middle, the bump not found.
Oh, age comes wisdom, and thankfully with you have youth and beauty, Spooks, and we are yet to see, however, that gorgeous standout play from both sides here. It's been pretty much routine, and Casio likes a bit of stability. To the backboard it goes, and it is being set up, but where is Ocelot, because that is a loose ball to be punished.
Intercepted again, the pass is not connecting one. Dizzy onto the back wall by Ocelot. TKO is there to help him out. Trying to get into the middle, 15 are going his way. And something we saw at Worlds, Danny, was that teams were starting to fake a lot. Something I'm seeing in this matchup is we're seeing a lot of individual plays where they try and bump people.
Well, even look at the side of the faking up the game here. Casio's just played that to perfection. Doesn't actually go for the bump, but the presence alone just off-puts the player, and it allows here maybe the team to recycle, to rejuvenate the play, and it will give them options later down the line.
One, look for the pass to the middle. 15 once again, 52nd time. Markwright going high. Oh no, he's getting 50 as well, and he's looking for another one. The 50 game has to be strong in this series. No one allowing each other an inch. That's Casio. Finally has some room to breathe. Getting challenged by Markwright, and once again 50, Danny.
It has been the story, and it will be continuing, as nobody has failed to not necessarily lose a 50 outright, but neither has it been to the extent punished, capitalised onto. There's also on back post rotation that will be useful here as Casio down to the line here. And what? Facing backwards is never good here, so pressure, mounting, and it is Big Stizzy to put one in.
And finally a slip up on the defensive end. You saw it here, the bounce. Ocelot jumped maybe a bit too early off the wall. Didn't have his flip, didn't have boost, didn't have timing. And that's all that he lacked, and it led to an open net right here. Finally something to breathe for CMS, but it's still not looking good. They're still being pushed back far too often.
Well, let's see if they're going to be continuing push back here to the wall once more. And Catalysm, he sits deep here. You said about the fakes, but taking the shot itself is also a decision. Do you hold it? Do you delay it? Do you fire it as quickly as you can? And once again, we're seeing the change. We're seeing the pace of it being adapted in that regards here. Offensively, it will be good. And a pass like that, and that's a world champion showing how we shoot on target.
But Catalysm here, look at this. He baits out the flip so long for people to bite on it, for people to go for it, Danny, to finally commit to that play, and that means he could just get it past easily. 2 people gone, nothing to worry about anymore. And now the 2-1 lead, 50 seconds on the clock. TKO's off to the side.
Stops there, as marked by 8, not able to go any further. Ocelot just leaves that. Is that empty? Oh my word, that hasn't happened. Spooks, pinch me please, tell me that hasn't happened.
You are not dreaming, Danny. It has happened. It has appeared. The open net, the one in your dreams, the one everyone wants to see, or maybe not. It could also be your worst enemy. It has appeared and has given us a tied up game once again. Plenty of time to still end it before an overtime, as Dizzy with the drop down.
And Ocelot to sweep this one away here. He has dreams, but will it be a heavenly one for the rest of the game here? They're up by 1-2-0. Sounds even better for a series complexion. But here, Stizzy just throws the ball down here. I'm not a fan of this sort of lump the ball downfield, and that's typical for an Irishman known for a Hail Mary or two.
Got to be careful right here. 2 people committing for a bump, but no one committing for a ball. And that means that the ball just couldn't fight the back of the net. Dizzy has a lot of time here. Goes high, straight on down. We have ourselves an overtime.
Good to see. Poised quite nicely for both of these sides here to find something and arguably more so for CMS to get something on the board here, because it will be a nervous feat. You do not want to be 0-2 down in a big match for any of these two sides, and it will be Oslon to defend and prevent that to be the outcome.
Oslon got bumped out of the solo play. Stizzy going high. He gets it past one, very well done. Gets it past the second one, but the third man is right there. But he did get everyone to commit, everyone to waste boost. That means that your team has to be quick to capitalize on what you've created as Catalysm capitalizes on it with the solo play.
What a fabulous out here. What a touch at the first one. Two was on the back wall here, and somebody in that call has to be Oslon, surely screaming to his team, push for it, push for it. You cannot have two in that back lines, and you know what? Catalysm deserves that goal. CMS deserved to get this one, and you know what? I would be spoiled and somewhat annoyed, Spooks, if this had been a 4-0 series.
Perhaps it isn't worthy of a 4-0. It's more worthy of going to game 6 or maybe finally a game 7. But CMS, they really did change their speeds, most of all, to be honest, Danny. They start playing a bit quicker, a bit more controlled at times as well. They started messing around with that. And you saw especially Catalysm with his pass, where he just waited to bait people out. And with this play right there as well, he's starting to play better and better as the series continues.
And that's what we want to do, and that's what the players will have to find within themselves here. It's how do you get better in a game, and that's a strong quality to have, especially at the top end here. Catalysm was good here, but let's give credit as well to Oslon to have that ability to read that open net, slots it on home, and that makes the game even more tighter and horrible a situation for CMS. And that's the mentality side of the game too. How do you respond after giving a freebie? And both sides now.
The big problem I did notice, though, for someone was that I believe Casio had 94 points. And
I wasn't going to bring that up.
Normally, I'm not one to speak about points, but it is a necessity when it's that low. And you're just not being able to find anything, as this pass straight down was a beautiful setup from Casio. Looking for a pass to the middle once again. This could be open. Stizzy doinks it away.
And already, Casio is trying to silence the hit. Well, more of the fact of Spooks' analytical brain, and that's goal number 1 already. There will be problems. Casio Oslo will be looking at each other and going, that was my ball.
I'm feeling Casio is being a bit awkward right now on the field. He's not playing the way he should be playing. He's getting missed touches, or he's missing in general. Not in the right positions, not at the right times. And it means that it's easily punished. Can he be in the right position this time around? The pass down is not being able to punch.
Just a shake of the head, that's all you can do. And that ball just being loud into the middle here for Casio in the wrong position, really, to snipe and have a sort of a punishing critical hit to the defensive capabilities here as Stizzy. Catalysm double commit here, so both sides guilty of that charge here as Casio to respond.
It was the right play with the amount of boost he had, trying to fake people out, trying to bait them in. Oslon passing to the middle, easily capitalized on by Catalysm. Going all the way, going along well, has the flip, couldn't use it, ran out of boost. Into the side we go once again. Oslon with control. Can't do much of it, and it's actually given away to the blue side once again. Stizzy misses the ball. Open net for Catalysm.
I'm actually stunned and for once a lack of words here, Spooks, because surely with a shot like that, yes, it's difficult, yes, when pace is on to it, but there's two defenders, there was opportunities to maybe have something going. I'm stunned for two sides with such experience on it. That's a goal that goes on through.
Trying to maybe get another one, maybe get a third onto the score sheet. Oslon gets them out first troubles. Casio to clear. This could be another open net. Not again. This time saved on the goal line. Stizzy, the heroic man himself.
And there will be Catalysm trying to make himself even more of a hero for his own team. But no salvation just yet for TKO. They have just pushed down this line, given the ball away. Oslon's pre-jump essentially has to be a 50. No, Mark Beck bails on out here and loses the rotation, and that's the fake that Spooks mentioned earlier. The rotation, the reset, and you know what? Works out well this time.
Mark by 8. Beautiful cool setup for himself. Gets it past one. He's been a bit invisible, but that's more so because he hasn't been necessary to pop off. He hasn't been necessary to do a lot for his team, as Catalysm and Stizzy are both looking stellar. The fake attempt this time not working around Stizzy, just slowing it down, gets demoed as well. But the ball's just still stuck in the orange half, marked by a 50-man. Just cannot lose right now.
Well, some heroes were capes, and frankly, marked by 8 doesn't have one yet. Might be getting one made after that particular bit of work here. Another cut by him, and Casio leaves that ball, but you can just sense that he wanted to be at the other side of it to tip it further. And every time we see this ball just go further in the orange half, you talk about being quicker. It almost feels like CMS has ramped it up another gear, and there's that lack of understanding of the game from TKO.
Just not able to catch on to the speed that is being shown. Even if when it slows down, they're not able to see through it. As Catalysm slows it down, goes for the solo play, looking for the double save this time around, but the offensive push can continue.
Well, these Stizzy, they go to the back lines and marked by 8. Tut. Should have left that for your teammate, and the Cook's pinch not being forthcoming here for either side's advantage as Casio's out of boost, out of options, but is there a pathway into the middle? Oh, that is fabulous!
Fabulous, stunning, beautiful, give it all that you have. This is what you want to see, the pre-jump passing play. Finally something to hold on to for TKO, but they're not done just yet.
Oh, they aren't, but they should be using that and saying, do you know what? We've done that with no boost. We've done that with a defensive horror show. Let's grab that second goal here and push on from it.
Push on from it, but it can be pushed onto the other direction. Stizzy open net, Catalysm and Mark by 8 setting it up.
Oh, just look at that. Control, ease and grace. And you know what? Every time when TKO gets back into this game, you just have that sense of hope, that sense of desire. But that's all what it is. Just somebody in that calm just needs to say, calm down, take that second, take the play, because frankly, it's surely getting frustrating for them.
50 here, loses it, almost got a touch onto it, and a solo play from TKO. But it cannot be called a solo play, because Ocelon was on a warpath right there.
And sometimes a general leads by charge, and it will be a fabulous recruitment here. Best shot so far at the tournament, both by this orange side, and they are the side, however, trailing in terms of the eye test here as Ocelon from his own back lines. Can he show us wanting a little bit more than we always have from him?
Slow play, slow play, onto the backward we go, can't find his own touch. Push to the side, Tekos into the middle we go once again. It's Casio with the follow-up, look for a second touch. The miss coming out from both of them, but the clear from Stizzy is good. And an awkward position to be in for Tekos with the low amount of boost he has. Stizzy, 50 once again, drop down to the ground. Catalysm is there to help out. Decides to grab boost first, pass into the middle is good. Tekos with the clear.
Oh, good cut by Ocelon. Should be reasonable for somebody. The double touch off this ground will be excellent to get something purchased into the game as Casio sent all the way back. Ross roll of the dice and the demo removes that, and that's straight on in. Surely, I need new glasses. I thought it was gone.
Danny needs new glasses, and it seems that TKO still needs a new game plan because they've just lost the second in a row. Game 3 going to the favor of CMS, the changing paces, the quick plays, and the mechanical solo plays. It seems to be all a bit too much.
And do you know what? As much here as we can flatter TKO with how they played some sensational games in terms of that passing play, the delivery, the Casio with no boost, and that understanding of each other, chemistry. It's not good enough if you can't defend. And as much as CMS has put on their own shots that Stizzy had put on in, Spooks, what on earth is next?
It still feels to me like with TKO and especially Casio, he seems to be lost still. Not finding his groove, not finding the right place to be, and still like he isn't a part of the team yet. They've had plays, they've had times where they look good, but most of the time it just seems like 3 individuals.
And that's the frustrating bit, because we see glimmers of maybe what they have seen in scrims or the reason why they're playing together, and it's just not clicking. And sometimes that happens, and you're going, Joe, where was this yesterday? Where has it carried on from? And Casio, for the second time, being the highlighted player is maybe an issue, and that's no disrespect to him, but he's not provided the numbers. He is getting one play, but one play does not give you a series.
And the big problem I have here is because for what people need to realize and understand, every single game is important that you get on live stream. Why? Because everything is a tryout. This may not be the tryout you wanted for this team, but if you show off yourself, it could be leading to a tryout with another team. You have to always perform at the highest level, and sometimes you're not showing it, and then it's gonna go the other way as Dizzy is shot easily blocked.
Well, Mark Bayet, he's been on stream so many times. Everybody knows his name, Stizzy, maybe less so, and that's a start as Mark will have his goal. Casio, he has been, unfortunately, given that sort of black mark to his name and hasn't produced the quality, the standard throughout. So he has to get this one away, and for the second time, he rotates back with no boost, but a back pass, good understanding and read.
Pass along with the solo play, forcing two people to commit to it. Mark Bayet to the side. Can he get a 50 out of it? No, leaves it alone for Stizzy. Casio all the way back, finally found some boost with the shot, finding the one angle that could not have been defended.
And Stizzy makes it very much a simple shot as well. You just look at your circle, oh, how did he get that one in? And you know what, TKO, come on. You have to cheer yourself up here, because we know what they're capable of. And it's just, again, like most of the Odyssey we see in the first round, sometimes a team gets beaten 4-1, you go, that shouldn't have happened.
Into the middle once again, but blocked off by Mark Bayet. He can't get a second touch, but he faked it at least. You may not have boost, but your enemies surely don't know if you have it, and that was a beautiful showcase of it as this ball 50 down into the middle. Casio, maybe for a follow-up touch, they see with the block, and to the side we go. Has him past one. Can he get it past the other one? Into the middle we go. Catalyst was quick, but that needs to be a bit quicker as the second touchdown not found.
Oslon taking over as Casio has been sent to the back lines here. It will be him getting a ball down to the middle, but hasn't transferred all the way. Ideal, and Mark Bayet in the right snatch and grab. Oh, it's only going to get worse.
My hands are in my head. And the ball is into the back of the net. Way too easily given away, Danny. It seems like most of the goals that we've seen out of CMS are not beautiful goals, are not special goals. They're just getting the goals when you need to be getting them.
And that's all that you have to do. Sometimes you have to play what's in front of you. That's the only opposition that will matter in Spooks. I won't care if that was your own team, and that's an excellent save under the circumstances. But again, and I don't want to be a broken record at this point, but they have to grab goals on the other side of the pitch, never mind saves.
The saves are not going to win you games. Dizzy is trying to prove that he can get another goal for his team. This one cleared to the side. Catalysm well put up. In the middle. Once again blocked off by Casio. I will say this, we have been ripping into Casio a tiny bit, but defensively he has been sound most of the time, blocking off those passes, getting transitions. It's just that when it comes to the offense, you need that little bit more, and these types of situations are what you need to score out of.
And Casio nearly just shows you that glimmer of the man that has been stunning some of the best teams in the European scene in the past, and unfortunately, Stizzy. Oh, Stizzy.
I did not react to this because I didn't think he was going to be able to get it to that spot. It would have been in any way. Catalyst didn't need even to touch it. He just stole a beautiful solo play from Stizzy. But I spoke about them not having good goals, and Stizzy's just listening in and thinking like, oh no, I can score a good one for you.
We should say it more often.
It's your turn this time around. It wouldn't work if I say it 2 times in a row.
Fair enough, Spooks. I'll save it for maybe the last goal of the game here, because this one from Mark Bayet will not be a good goal. The pass, however, overcooked sadly. And will we see Casio maybe grabbing the headlines for one last time of a goal?
This shot overcooked, burnt maybe. Maybe a bit too well done on your stake, as this one is put in right on target, but once again blocked off. The team bump working as well right now. It seems that everything that could go against you is going against TKO right now.
And again, that one just not happening. There has been rare moments, and that's a decent save, and it feels like we're on the victory. The campaign, the song is just about to be ready to play for this team to move on in. TKO, I believe the social media manager has stolen me from my own joke here. I think they are about to be TKO'd themselves.
Jokes have been stolen, goals have been stolen by Catalysm as well, but what has also been stolen is every momentum from this series so far. We saw game one, we thought, okay, let's go TKO, this is what we want to see, but right now it seems it's just lost any type of momentum, any type of energy they could have had. TKO is the one you were looking for maybe some mechanical plays. He's not even being able to find anything.
There's just sometimes you just hold your hands up and say, I've been beaten. I'm done. You're just the better team at the moment. And Joe what, Spooks? I agree with everything that you've said there. But CMS, this is a performance that the rest of it, you said this is a tryout for everybody watching. I hope people are, because Stizzy and Mark Bayet and Kat, they are just showing they have the stuff to prove it.
They definitely have been playing well. Mark Bayet trying to maybe add a fifth one onto the list, leaving it alone for Stizzy. A bit too high, a bit too much power on it. As Mark Bayet gets it into the middle once again using his flip. It doesn't really matter. The 4-0 will stand. They will go to the 3-1 in the series. And they will be on to the match point, Danny. Normally I would ask, what can TK do here to change, to get better and to get back into the series? But I don't think there's much you can do right now.
I don't want to be cliche and give the casters or throwaway comment of a demo. That would be good. Open up the space maybe, and we haven't seen any of that happen, which we haven't. But you're right. To me at this point here, and I'm probably guilty in somewhat calling the series early by that last statement. I don't know what you do, because frankly there isn't that pass, there isn't that option, and even just look at the domination on the pitch, that would suggest a good 3-4 big boost pads are being stolen, everything else in between. And Spooks, TKO, they don't have options. They need to find something, at least one thing to hold on to.
The worst thing is, last game they had plenty of shots. This game they've had 3 shots. TKO is their most dangerous player, is being held back non-stop. Arsenal is not being able to find any bumps or demos or passes. And Casio has been invisible this entire series through, where defensively he is intercepting passes, but is not doing much with it.
And again, when you have TKO there, you would look at him as sort of that mechanical player, sort of somewhat bit more upfront, given the attack. At what stage here, and if you're looking at this, say, where has been the service by Oslon? Where's the ball been by Casio? We see Oslon trying to air dribble the ball sometimes further up, but that's it. And maybe that might have to change, but even that stopped producing anything.
Mark Bayet trying to get this goal going right away. Wants to get that early lead just to be done and dusted with this series. Of course, you want to spend as little amount of time as possible. As Stizzy goes high, TKO's to the side. Mark Bayet high. Stizzy turn around, is there, demo is found, shot way too wide, not even going towards the net.
Oh, it's a bad shot, but if you're TKO, you'll just be glad to see something to go right for you for the change. The rub of the green, essentially so, as Casio just stalls the ball, and that's a problem in itself. Where's the follow-through? We've been screaming out here, and you said that 3 solo players at time, and that is unfortunately evidence of it.
Awesome, just a big booming ball, just tries to get it away, get some time onto the clock. Casio onto the side. Catalysm is there just way quicker than TKO's right now, and he has the flip set once again. Can pass it into the middle, maybe for the shot for himself. Mark Bayet, rightfully positioned, and it's just a runaway right now.
He didn't even blink, didn't even move his wheels. He just thought, do I need to go back here? No, because that's the fear factor, the loss of respect here. That's what Mark Bayet's sitting so deep high up for. And you know what? That's the one goal. Game's done and dusted, most people. TKO, please show us at least one goal.
Show us some some life, show us some energy, show us anything to hold on to get some hope as Tekos finally has some control, finally has some time, but kind of lets the easy look onto the sides. Dizzy for a second one. Can't fight Ocelon though. And Ocelon has the breakthrough together with Casio, but you needed two people in an awkward situation and you lost control as well as Catalysm. The man who has been most surprising to me this entire series, Danny, because he's been performing phenomenally.
He has been, and it's...
Look at him. Look at this. Oh, the front of my car is not good enough. I'll just use the back of a backflip.
Oh. I genuinely feel so sorry for TKO, because that's not disrespectful, but that also shows you how comfortable they are right now. When you can hit the ball with any part of your car, it just shows you what they're able to produce. And frankly, where he placed it as well, in between the two defenders.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the right word. It's just perfect.
Everything seems to be going well. I wanted to compliment Catalysm. He's been surprising me so much during this series. It's been looking great, but so has Dizzy. And Mark8 has fitted into the role that he likes to play in again on the roster. And that makes this so scary right away from the get-go. It's just a team that works well. The demo was there as well. Catalysm can't get a second touch. It's Casio to clear.
Casio, mind you, is chasing it. You talk rightly so about Catalysm. He has been part of some decent lineups over the time. Tox has been part of it, and that 50 can't even break its way through. And bless them, they're not getting anything into their favour. And you know what? The next 2 minutes here might just be the last we see of them.
Catalysm, look for a ball into the middle. It's Tekos. Has some control, but the flick was early and way too easily given away. Dizzy straight on down. It's Mark8 there to follow it up and leaves it alone for Catalysm. Back down. Catalysm misses the ball though. Into the hands there for Mark8 though. And you see that even when the breakthrough comes through for TKO, there is someone on top of it right away. And Mark8's like, I don't want to play. Here you go, Catalysm.
Yeah, it's almost like playing sort of fetch somewhat with your dog as well too. Just throw the ball to Big Stizzy occasionally often, and you just see everybody else miserable because he won't give it away. Do you know what? Just take the ball and run.
Takes the ball, runs away, doesn't come back, and then just shows it to you that he has it, but doesn't want to give it away to you once again. The only time Stacey will leave this ball alone is when it's into the back of the net, as Ocelon trying to break free, trying to get that ball into their control, into their grasp, but it's just not possible.
No, certainly so, and once again, that's Ocelon and Casio in the same spots here, and Jarjam talked about you and myself to an extent here, building your threes team up. Maybe similar players, similar mindset, and to the point here, too similar. It has been almost the factor against them that has been their Achilles heel, and it has cost them.
And for people who are wondering, why aren't they screaming, why aren't they yelling for some of these goals? It's very simple. It's because it's so clear that CMS is right now better than TKO. The difference, the gap has been proven, has been shown, and it just keeps on widening, growing and growing.
Sometimes the best respect you can give to your opposition, or just in general, is just a nod up the head here, and CMS is just going to be given the nod essentially. So moving on further in the bracket, who they play against, that will be an interesting question. We will have the answer shortly to you. But do you know what a performance.
What a performance, where I had my doubts. I had some trouble trusting CMS if they were going to be the team that we could have expected from them. They showed us we were wrong. They showed exactly what they're capable of.
I hate to be rude to it as well to you somewhat, Spooks. I did call a 4-1 to CMS on paper, and that's what's happening again. So I do apologise to everybody.
Yeah. You were correct, but we just didn't expect it after game one.
Oh, I'm hurt by that, Spooks. Genuinely hurt by that, because do you know what? Sometimes I am right, and I don't gloat about it. Other people might suggest otherwise, but Spooks, let's somewhat break the game down here, because constantly we were harping on about TKO. Let's look at somewhat the positives for them here. The fact that there was that team play, the fact they're able to play boost and able to control it to some extent, that's a benefit from them. The problem shouldn't just always be a solution, but frankly, it's going to be an odd situation. But Spooks, any words about this lineup?
I think there is some hope. There were some good signs, but I think with the expected long season, it's not a team that's gonna stick together. It's not a team that's gonna play much more together. Because I think the pop-off potential is just not there. They're all able to find teams that they click better with, where they're able to play more freely. Because that's what it felt like to me. Like they were playing against what they want to play like.
Now, that's certainly true, and we can talk about playing and everything else, but maybe a question to some extent here should be thrown to revenge for RCX Books, and that would be to Jara Jam here. What about your threes teams? Does any of those players tickle the fancy on who you want to select?
I mean, I had a belief in TKO because Casio, I fairly say I'm going to be biased. Casio has been playing on the teams that I've been commentating on, and hands Semper, top blokes, you know the deal. So a lot of support for the guy. Ocelon is so storied history in RLCS, and Tekos still feels like the new and up and coming guy. He has been given his chances. He's 17, so by this point, middle of his career, knowing RLCS terms and how quickly people retire. In any case, this was a lovely team, and I had my own belief in it, but alas, Stacey, Markbait, Catalysm. We've seen Ocelon pop off once on the side of TKO, but then Catalysm is still in vogue. Mark by 8 is still the Mark by 8. His name was feared all this time. Every single time a ball was given to Mark by 8 back in even like a season ago, you were afraid, and that's exactly what continued here. And Stizzy is rounding up that team great. Again, he is one of the younger players right now, and he should be looked at and thought, alrighty, how can we build a team around him? So honestly, everybody is looking so great, and to create a team out of everybody, I love the new faces. But at the same time, I'm like looking, oh, there's Flakes on that roster. Oh, let's get Flakes. Oh, Fairy Peak is still playing. Of course, let's get Fairy Peak. So many familiar names. So I'll be here until the cows go home if I had to choose something. But we do have something to at least talk about, and that is the series that have already finished. We have some updates in the standings. None of the series in the first round, the round of 16, has gone to only 4 games. No sweeps, no siree. We are having 4-1s, and funnily enough, that's another series on the other broadcast, the Rocket Baguette, that has ended in 4-1. Get Wigglytuft. Spooks unfortunately got absolutely jigglypuffed by Esports.
1 game 7, by the way. Sorry, I'm so looking at that like Goldbro RFN.
Oh yes,
going to game 7, but yeah,
that's
Esports. They pretty much did what CMS did right here in this series, dominance.
Yes. Such a shame though, Danny. I don't know. Is it just me, or is it just great to see Fairy Peak still playing? And I put a lot of belief in him and trust in him still, even if he's going to be moving to the coaching position. I love seeing Fairy Peak and any of the veterans still putting it out on the field.
Can we check that any of the French viewers aren't listening?
They're all over to Rocket Baguette. Twitch.tv/Rocket Baguette for abroad.
I've got a slight controversial take onto that. I would like Ferry just to retire, please. I love him dearly. He's a fabulous player. I would like him to retain his legacy. He's so good. And the fact that he's playing with younger players in this case, the fact that he's got beaten here today, I don't want to watch him get beat. I love him dearly. To watch the old players like Mystic, Coxer, and seeing them lose, it's a bit of me just feels a bit sorry, and I don't want to see it happening.
Fair point. It's anybody who's you truly believe in and just keep seeing them lose over and over again. Want to see that, but you always bring that one bit of belief just again and just a little bit more. Well, when another team, and I just mentioned Flakes, unfortunately Flakes together with J-Waits and Durko, Beastbound is their coach, so that has the potential to be a great roster, but they're out. Boom, have defeated them another 4-1, and new are Triton Crispy and Charlie B. So is it again, by this point, are they new players? They're by no means they're new players, they're young players. They have been around for a while, Spooks, and they are are they finally getting the results done? Or is it a good combination? A fully British team? Haven't had that. Actually, we do keep having that for a while. But your opinions on the noob side and how on earth did they defeat Sick?
I will say Sick is probably one of the weaker teams that we have in the top 16. So I'm not surprised they beat them, because just purely looking at the level of some of the other teams, Trident, Crispy, and Charlie B are all players that are around the same level, I would say, to what Sick is capable of doing. But the problem that Sick has always had, when I've looked at them, when I've watched them, when I've casted them, is they're inconsistent. And that's probably what happened in this series as well. Inconsistency plaguing them, and they just got beaten by it.
Danny, I think I'm starting to feel whatever you were feeling in the green room when you were talking about all the teams you want to see go through, and all of the people say that they cannot possibly go through. Fairy Peak and Get Wiggler's they're out. Sick with Flakes are out. I'm running out of players to support, but then again, there's looking all over the place. There are so many, and I think we still have a chance to cheer for some of the veterans around the scene. That's for sure.
Well, I was hoping Speed was going to go through that deep line run with particular that old Liquid connection I have with them. Look, there's some fabulous players with some decent names here with a lot of history to them, and you know what? It's shaping up here, and everybody was looking at the younger players. So was I, but every time you look at it and you go, "Are you quite sure about that?"
We're sure about one thing. Boom Baby Crown are out. The fake SK Gaming are through to the next round. So, unfortunately, goodbye to Hek, HB, and Lhasa. But it's the fake SK Gaming, which literally consists just of one SK player and one SK coach, Nas and Moomin, respectively. Raziers of Monkeys fame and Ivan of the side of BSG Tundra, now the X rosters in that sense, are moving on through yet another 4-1. And everything else is shaping up to be a long series. Shame to see the Dutchies go out, but come on, Raziers, Ivan, even Nas thrown into that mix, Spooks. That is a solid roster.
I mean, it's an expected result, to be fair. It's Reserves, Ivan Nas. It's a team that we all kind of expected that, yeah, they're going to be in the finals. They should make the grand finals, quite honestly, because they're that level of good. At minimum top 4. So, and if you then look at Boom Baby Crown, they have the capabilities for maybe doing that, but not against them.
And speaking of coaching, I'm going to come back to you again, Spooks. Out of all the teams in the tournament right now, who would you like to coach?
Here he goes again. This is you give me tough questions, to be fair.
Could I give a prediction what he's going to say here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. While Spooks is thinking, Danny, please give us a prediction.
See, I would have thought he would have went with Boom Baby Crown before the start of today, but seeing they're out already, I don't think that's going to be the case here. Spooks actually doesn't like normally picking favorites, so one of the weaker teams I would suggest probably.
Actually, I have two.
Oh, typical Spooks always have more than one.
Hey, give the man options, especially if Boom Baby Crown is out, and you know.
Yeah, that's
Top Esports, one, because I think that's one that could be very interesting and has capabilities to go even further than just this tournament. And Gyat with Looseby, Acre, and Relating Faith that Danny fully disagreed with me on at the start. That I think is another team that could be fun to look at.
Relating Wave, Danny, come on, Relating Wave. It's
and what?
Oh, them's fighting words, Danny. Them's fighting words.
I can understand why Spooks would pick a roster like that. A deep third man moves across, but you know what? I'll tell you this here. Give me Greasy Meister with 2 other players, and I'll want those 2 players together. I want to coach that lineup.
Alrighty, well, it's alrighty. More news coming in on through, and it's I heard there's a Hogan mode, and I'm assuming it's out. Sorry, one Hogan mode down.
It's 3-3 going to Game 7.
Game 7. Alrighty. Well, we are going to be seeing some Game 7s, that's for sure. Currently, the 4 series, not 100% confirmed to be all of them in best of 7s, but it's definitely approaching to that. So we somehow managed to pick a series that just went to 4-1 and was pretty quickly done. League Esports and CMS, by the way, later on the twitch.tv/Rocket Baguette broadcast if you want to watch that, or if you prefer the French broadcast. Over here at the Rocket RB, we're still looking at this bracket, and I'm surprised that I'm always hoping, but I'm pleasantly surprised that we cannot separate these teams, which once again shows for for the quality in the region. And for me, this is looking lovely. Such a shame that we'll have to say goodbye to 8 of these teams. And again, 8 of these teams won't be even able to make it to the prize pool. Speaking of which, how about we talk about that? Every single team that makes it past the first round is guaranteed at least $500. You make it to the quarterfinals, 1,500 are yours, 3,000 if you're finished second, and 6,000 for the eventual winner, for a total, you do the math, $14,000. And this is not our last Rising Stars Odyssey event. Yes, there have been 3 already. Yes, this is the 4th one, and it's too late to do anything about it besides watching it and cheering for your favorite players. But there is one more remaining. September 16th for those open qualifiers. This is the part that you can register, sign up for, get yourself a chance to play in the main event next day, September 17th. It's coming